Hey guys, welcome to Green Bean Fiction. So in today's video we are gonna see, what if Deku became Lord Drakkon and fell for Kimberly? Movie. This story is Izuku Ranger Drakkon by DKDDKS10. Before starting, make sure to hit that like button, as your one like motivates me to bring more stories, and subscribe the channel if you are new so you won't miss our latest videos. We find ourselves in a desolate wasteland, in which, besides a crack in the sky, a man in a dark suit was surrounded by several people in colorful outfits. The dark figure takes an object from his belt. Subject: they may destroy me, but they will never get my morpher. The object in the center begins to generate energy discharges, and its golden color changes to blood red. The exercise is launched against the dark masked figure, but with a few seconds of luck, he manages to throw his morpher into the rift, causing him to disappear from the battlefield. The exercise attacks the dark subject with everything it has, and it receives all the attacks head-on, causing its body to no longer resist, and it ends up collapsing on the ground. In a different place, a group of teenagers in suits could be seen chasing an armored car on a highway. The green-haired boy propels himself with a great leap, and manages to reach the roof of the truck. At that moment, several bullets and lasers began to come out of the truck, and the boy tried to dodge the attacks. Izuku. Okay, time for plan B. Izuku runs to the back of the truck, and with one hand he holds onto the door, and with the other, he rips off the other door to get into the truck. Several people armed with quite advanced weapons attack the green-haired man, but he attacks them with black whips that come out of his arms. Izuku manages to immobilize the attackers, and tries to go to the driver's cabin, but the truck starts to veer off the road. Izuku was trying to keep his balance, and it was a little difficult for him to reach the cabin. With the rest of the students, everyone had lost track of the truck. Iida. Damn, this is bad, Midoriya won't be able to do it alone. Uraraka. We have to find Deku. Everyone. Yes. Jiro sticks his headphones into the asphalt and tries to locate the sound waves from the truck. Jiro. There's nothing, I can't find any trace of the truck. Uraraka thinking, Deku, please hold on. With Izuku. The truck was now on a precipice, and Izuku and the criminals were trying to get out. The criminals all came out at the same time, causing an imbalance in the truck, and therefore, it fell off the cliff, with Izuku inside. The truck falls at full speed, and Izuku desperately tried to use his quirk to get out, but it was impossible with the little time he had. Before he hit the ground, Izuku would see a reddish glow appear in the night sky, and it would approach him at full speed. Izuku extends his hand, and manages to catch whatever was heading towards him. Izuku closes his eyes, and wakes up in a completely white place. Izuku didn't know what was happening, but when he looked at his hand, he saw that he had the red piece of the morpher. Izuku. But what is this? At that moment, a portal opens, and from it, some people wearing silver armor with different colored features emerge. The young hero would get ready. Red. Relax, young Izuku, you don't have to. Izuku. How do they know my name? Without letting his guard down. Gold. We know about you, and everything you had to go through to get where you are, but now, you're part of something much bigger. Izuku. What are you talking about? Black. What you hold in your hand is the power coin of the evil Lord Drakkon, the most despicable being in all the multiverses, and you will be its bearer and guardian from now on. Izuku. What? But I don't think I'm the most suitable for this, besides, I'm just an aspiring hero. Pink. Believe me, young man, you're more than capable of this. Lord Drakkon is a variant of Tommy Oliver, the legendary ranger, and Tommy is a variant of you. Both of you have light and darkness in your hearts. You have demonstrated a clear amount of light superior to anyone. You are quite kind and honorable. Money will never corrupt you. Izuku sees the coin, and then he sees the beings that were in front of him. Izuku. I still have doubts about this. Red. The answers will be given to you in due time, it's time for you to return. A blinding light envelops Izuku, and when he opens his eyes, he sees that he is lying face up, surrounded by several pieces of the truck, and covered in blood, but without any wounds. Izuku looks at his hand again, and sees the coin, which was now his responsibility. Izuku. The answers will be given to you as time passes, sigh, hopefully. Izuku stands up, and sees several police patrol cars arriving at the scene, accompanied by his friends. Uraraka. Deku runs towards him. Uraraka throws herself at him and hugs him tightly. Uraraka. Are you hurt? Does anything hurt? Checks him over. Izuku. No, I'm fine. Hides the coin in his pocket. The others approach him. Kirishima. Bro, what you did was the most manly thing my eyes have ever seen. Smiling face with cheer thumbs up. Izuku. I only did what a hero would do. Mina. Well, I say these heroes deserve a good rest. A few hours later, the students were now in a dormitory building. Izuku was heading to his room, but Uraraka quickly approached him. Uraraka. Hey, Deku, would you like to watch a movie? Everyone is in the living room. Izuku. No thanks, Uraraka, I'm actually quite tired. Uraraka. Okay, but I'll save you a spot if you decide to come with us. Izuku. Thanks, see you later. Izuku enters his room and approaches his desk. Izuku. Okay, so what should happen with this? Looking at the coin. At that moment, the coin would begin to generate a dark energy, and Izuku would begin to hear a voice. Voice. Time for morphosis. Izuku. Who said that? Looking around. Voice. Time for morphosis. Izuku. Time for morphosis. The coin transforms into the morpher, which was somewhat damaged. Vos. Drakkon. Izuku. What the hell? Drakkon. The coin transforms back into its red form, and Izuku is enveloped in red and black energy, then covered by a suit similar to that of the dark subject. Izuku. Wow, this is incredible. Looking at himself in the mirror. Voice. Not bad for your first time, kid. Izuku would look all around, but he would notice something in his reflection. Izuku takes something from his belt, and he would realize that it was a sword. Voice. My name is Saba, and I will be the one to guide you on this new journey in your life. Izuku. You're a talking sword, impressive. Saba. The masters of the Morpher Network created me to help you and answer any questions you may have, but first, we should test your skills. Izuku. I agree with you, very excited. A few minutes later, Izuku was now wearing sportswear, and holding the coin. Izuku. Okay, so now. At that moment, Saba appears in his free hand. Saba. Lesson 1, I have self-awareness, so I can appear even if you are not transformed. Izuku. Okay. At that moment, Saba begins to float. Saba. Now, try transforming yourself with a little more confidence. Izuku. Okay. Izuku stands at attention and takes a deep breath. Izuku. Morph time. Summons his morpher, Drakkon. Extends his morpher, and transforms well. Saba. Nothing bad, but you'd better start using your powers. Izuku. You mean OFA. Saba. Your ability and the energy of morphing merged into one. Lord Drakkon's abilities and yours were somewhat similar, try testing them. Izuku. If you say so, I'll try the black whip. Izuku's hands begin to generate green and red energy, and beams of energy emerge from his hands, disintegrating several trees around him. Izuku. Damn it, I'd better try something else. Izuku jumps, and begins to float in the air. Izuku. At least I can still float. Saba. You're not floating, you're flying. Izuku. What, can I fly? Saba. Don't you know the difference between floating and flying? Izuku. Saba. It doesn't matter, you still have your immense strength, and you're not going to break your arms like you did before. Izuku. How is it that? Returns to the ground. Saba. The Morpher Network Masters explained to me, and I think it's a good time for you to try other transformations. Izuku. Can I change my powers? Eyes sparkling. Saba. Yes, observe. Saba's eyes light up, and a red screen appears in front of them, on which there were different rangers. Saba. They all achieved redemption, but their evil essence remained in Lord Drakkon's coin. Izuku takes the coin out of his morpher, and looks at it. Izuku. The teachers said I was immune to the dark effects of the coin, but if someone else uses it, could they suffer the effects? Saba. I'm afraid so, that's why you're the one who must keep her safe. Well, changing the subject, I suggest you use the White Ranger. Izuku. Okay, takes his morpher, and places his coin, you guide me. Saba. Repeat this, Dino Thunder, White Ranger. Izuku. Dino Thunder. White Ranger extends his morpher, and transforms while looking at his sword. This is great. Saba. Make cuts in the air, and you'll see what happens. Izuku obeys, and makes some cuts in the air, and some bright yellow lines appear floating. Izuku. Brilliant. The lines take the form of arrows, and these point where Izuku points his sword. Saba. Try shooting a rock. Izuku points at a huge rock. Izuku. Fuego. The arrows attack the rock, causing huge cracks in it, and then making it explode. Izuku. This is incredible. Returns to his original outfit. What's next? Saba. It's best to continue tomorrow. That's enough training for today. Izuku. Sighs. Well, besides, I think it's getting a bit late, and just out of curiosity, how do I take off the suit? Saba. Power out. Izuku. Okay, power out. Izuku returns to normal. Saba. See you tomorrow. Disappears. Izuku puts the coin in his pocket and walks back to the dormitories. In another location, 5 boys in colorful outfits could be seen. 2 of them take off their helmets, and one gives his female companion a light tap on the head. Jason. They almost killed you. Kimberly. Calm down, Jason, it was just a small problem. Besides, I used my gift before I suffered any harm. At that moment, neon wings appear on the girl's back, and she begins to fly. Kimberly. Low vase. The rest of the team approaches them, and the girl in yellow grabs Kimberly by the ankle. Trini. Kim, stop flying already, we're getting late. Kimberly. Why the rush? The boy in blue approaches both girls. Billy. I detected a rather strange morpher signal in Japan. Trini. And if we don't get to the airport, we're going to miss our flight. Kimberly comes down, and everyone deactivates their suits. Kimberly. Japan, here we come. The next day, Izuku and Saba were training in an area somewhat far from the academy. Izuku. Mystic Force, Korag. Izuku transforms into a new ranger. Saba. Korag was known as the Dark Wolf, his shield infused great mystical power. Try it, place your sword behind the shield. Izuku. Okay. Izuku positions his sword, and his shield opens to reveal a kind of energy beam. Izuku takes position, and a vortex of purple energy would be generated in his shield, from which a wolf's head would emerge. The wolf's head generates a purple energy sphere from its mouth and launches a powerful energy beam. Izuku reverts to his Drakkon form and removes his helmet. Izuku. That was exhausting. These attacks take a lot of my energy. Saba. That's why you have to train so you can defend yourself and protect the currency. Izuku nods, and puts his helmet back on, then takes his morpher. Izuku. Dino Charge, Dark Ranger. Izuku transforms into a different kind of ranger. At Musafatu Airport, the group of friends were having breakfast in a cafe. Kimberly. I wonder how we'll find the energy you mentioned, Billy. Billy. I've got it covered. Pulls out his phone. I created a morpher energy tracking system. I can locate the source of that energy from my phone. Zach. Genial. At that moment, a notification arrives on Billy's phone. Billy. The encounter. Jason. Okay, let's go for it. They all collect their luggage and leave the airport. With Izuku, he was returning to the academy, but at that moment, he would hear several ambulances and police sirens. Izuku. Did you hear that? Saba. Field training time, speaking through Izuku's mind. Izuku takes out his coin. Izuku. Morphing time. Activates his morpher, Drakkon. Transforms. Izuku takes a running start and shoots off into the sky. Kimberly. She and her group were heading towards the source of the signal. At that moment, Billy stops. Jason. Billy, is something wrong? Billy. The signal is moving, straight to us. At that moment, several ambulances and police patrol cars speed by. Billy. Let's follow them. Everyone follows the cars at full speed. With Izuku, he lands on a rooftop, and he would see a building surrounded by police and heroes. Izuku. It looks like a hostage situation. Saba. We have to find a way to get in without them noticing. Izuku would see a ventilation grate on the wall of the building opposite. Izuku. I think I found a way. Kimberly. She and her friends would arrive at the scene of the events. Jason. What's happening? Billy checks his phone. Billy. The signal is coming from inside the building that's surrounded by police, maybe we could get in. Zack. I doubt we can, buddy. Jason comes up with an idea. Jason. I have an idea, follow me. They all follow Jason into an alley. Jason. Morphing time. They all take out their coins, and they would be enveloped in a blinding light. With Izuku, he would already be inside the building, and he would look for where the civilians were. Izuku. This is pretty exciting, I've only done this in training. Saba. Concentrate. They both reach the lower level, and they would see several people tied up, and a subject with a sniper rifle instead of an arm, and with a revolver through his head. Izuku. It seems to be who we're looking for. Saba. Take your dagger, and let's go for it. Izuku would take something from his belt, which was a dagger somewhat similar to a flute. Saba. Go for it, Ranger. Kimberly. She and her colleagues were touring the building, but with the difference that now they were wearing their uniforms. Kimberly. Will it take us long to find her? At that moment, several gunshots and screams are heard. Trini. I don't think so. The Rangers rush to the source of the noise, and they see Izuku fighting the villain with the weapon. Izuku starts to morph. Izuku. Dino Fury, Void Knight. Izuku transforms into a new Ranger. Izuku. Okay, come get me. The attacker starts shooting, but none of the bullets harmed Izuku. One of the bullets ricochets off Izuku's head and heads towards the Rangers. Zack. Watch out, he steps in front of them. The bullet hits Zack squarely, but does not harm him. Trini. Zack, are you okay? Zack. Relax, I had my gift activated. Izuku tries to cut off the criminal's weapon arm, but the criminal is faster and hits him so hard that he sends him crashing into the Rangers. Izuku stands up, and he sees the Rangers. Izuku. Who are you? Wielding his dagger and Saba. Saba. They are the Rangers of this universe. Izuku. Is that true? Kimberly. Yes, we're the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Relieved face. Izuku. Well, I guess I need some help. Jason. We'll get the civilians out, you finish him off. Izuku nods, and returns to the action. At that moment, Billy noticed something on his phone. Billy. He's the power source looking at his phone. Kimberly. Are you sure? Billy. Completely. Jason. Then we'll continue with that, we have to help the civilians. The Rangers approach the civilians and free them from their bonds. Upon seeing this, the criminal tries to shoot them, but Izuku manages to cut the inside of his weapon arm. The attacker shoots Izuku in the head with his gun, but Izuku uses his shield to protect himself. The Rangers evacuate all civilians from the building, and the police begin to enter the premises. Police Officer 1. Everyone stay still, you are under arrest. Trini. What, why? Police Officer 2. Law violation, put down your weapons, and no one will get hurt. The Rangers didn't know what to do at that moment, but Izuku did. Izuku unleashes a shockwave with his sword, and the police officers fall to the ground. Izuku. Quick, follow me. All the Rangers leave the place and run for the exit. Izuku. Power out returns to normal. They all leave the building and hide behind a wall. Kimberly blushes slightly upon seeing Izuku's appearance. Jason approaches him and tries to take the coin, but Izuku stops him. Izuku. What do you think you're doing? This could corrupt your mind. Jason. I know, that's why you shouldn't have it. Izuku. Sai, do you think it affected me? Trini. Well, looking at you closely, you seem like a good person, what do you say, Jason? Jason. Well, I guess we can trust you, for now. Kimberly approaches Izuku. Kimberly. Nice to meet you, I'm Kimberly, what's your name? Izuku. Soy Izuku Midoriya, L Ranger Drakkon. A few hours later, Izuku and the Rangers were in the city park. Kimberly. And tell me, Izuku, how do you feel using your powers? At first, it was quite difficult for me to control them. Izuku. It's a little tiring switching from one ranger to another, but it's also quite fun to be able to use these powers, although I also have some doubts about what it's like to be a ranger. Kimberly. Well, if you want we can teach you how to be a ranger, we had to learn on our own, we didn't have anyone to teach us. Izuku. It's not necessary, Kimberly. Kimberly. Come on, it'll be fun. Izuku. Well, I guess it'll be good for my training. The rest of the Rangers approach them. Billy. Hey, if you don't mind me asking, I'd like to ask you some tests and questions. Izuku. Sure, that sounds good to me. A few minutes later, they were all in an area far from the city. Billy takes a computer out of his backpack, and at that moment, his eyes would turn blue. Izuku. Wow, what kind of quirk do you have? Billy. I'm a technopath, I control technology. Billy's computer turns on by itself, and it starts accessing some files. Izuku. Brilliant. The computer enters a blank file. Billy. Okay, I'll put all the information I get from this test here. Izuku. Okay, what do you want me to do? Billy. Transform yourself, and then we'll see what happens. Izuku. Good. Izuku walks away from the group and takes out his coin. Izuku. Morphing time. Summons his morpher, Drakkon. Transforms. Billy. Okay, your turn, Trini. Trini transforms, and approaches Izuku. Trini. Let's see what you've got, gets into a fighting stance. Saba flies out of Izuku's belt and approaches the Rangers to observe the fight. Trini runs quickly towards Izuku and tries to kick him, but Izuku manages to block it. Izuku punches Trini, but she catches Izuku's fist with her right hand, and then punches him in the chest. Izuku steps back, and quickly stands up. Trini's hands light up, and two daggers appear in her hands. Izuku. Okay, I can do that too. Izuku takes his dagger and gets into a fighting stance. Trini attacks Izuku, but with greater speed than usual. Izuku could barely block Trini's attacks, while she increased her speed. Zack. I see Trini is having fun. Billy. The speed of his attacks increases exponentially. At that moment, an alert is triggered on Billy's computer. Billy checks his computer and sees that it was an attack on the outskirts of the city. Kimberly. What are those things? Saba. They are sentinels, creatures created from the Dark Morpher network. There must be a user of that network nearby. The images begin to pixelate, and now a woman in green clothing is shown. Greetings, Rangers, I am Rita Repulsa, the Green Ranger of this universe, and you will give me your coins, of course, if you want your world not to be destroyed. Izuku and Trini approach the Rangers. Trini. Wow, who is she? Billy's computer shuts down. Jason. We have to stop her, time for morphing. Everyone activates their morphers, and they transform. A few minutes later, they would all arrive at the place where the sentries were located. Jason. Rangers, it's time for action. Everyone. Yes, the sentinels launch themselves at the Rangers, but they destroy them as if they were nothing. Izuku unleashes a beam of energy, destroying a large number of the sentinels. Kimberly. Wow, that's great. Izuku. Yes, although it's difficult to keep it under control with energy discharges in his hands. With the students of Class 1A. They were in the dormitories, trying to communicate with Izuku. Uraraka. This is very strange, Deku isn't answering my messages or calls. Iida. He might be busy, or in training. At that moment, the doorbell would ring, and Uraraka would open the door. Uraraka opens it, but she wouldn't see anyone, and she would only find a box on the floor. Uraraka takes the box and goes back into the building. Iida. And that box? Uraraka. I don't know, I found it outside. Uraraka opens the box, and inside she sees 5 rather strange watches. Bakugo. What the hell are these things? Picks one up. Bakugo presses one of the buttons, and a holographic projection of Rita appears in front of them. Rita. Greetings, young heroes. Uraraka. Who are you? Somewhat scared. Rita. You have been chosen to become the next generation of Dragon Keepers, the defenders of the earth. The students were now amazed, and excited. Iida. Are you serious? Rita. Yes, it's true. The reason they were chosen so soon is because the Harbingers of Darkness have appeared, the Power Rangers. The students now had a serious look on their faces. Bakugo. Who are those extras? Rita. Beings of pure evil, they don't care about humanity, they pretend to be heroes in order to deceive the world, and thus be able to conquer it in secret. Now all the students were beyond angry with the Power Rangers. Rita. Take your morphers, it's time to transform. Iida and Uraraka take 2 of the remaining 4, and both of them, along with Bakugo, transform. Kirishima. Wow, that's amazing. Denki. I want to try too, takes one and transforms. Juro. You took away the opportunity from someone who might have been a hero for humanity unamused. Kirishima. Am I the only one whose suit feels too tight? Zero. A lot of information, my friend. Uraraka takes the remaining morpher. Iida. You won't let someone else take one, will you? Uraraka. I'll give it to Deku, I'm sure he'll like being a part of this. Bakugo. That nerd is sure to die. With Izuku, he and the Rangers had finally finished off all the Sentinels. Jason. That was pretty tough. Izuku. You said it. He takes off his helmet. At that moment, they would all be enveloped in an energy field, and they would disappear. Elsewhere, the Rangers reappear in a different location. Trini. Where are we? Billy. I don't know, but I can sense a lot of electronic energy. Greetings, Rangers. Everyone looks ahead, and they see a rather large robot. I am Alpha 5, and you have been summoned. Jason. Summoned for what? To evolve. Everyone looks behind Alpha, and they see someone in an energy tube. I am Zordon, and you are now on the Ranger ship. The Rangers were in what looked like a spaceship. Kimberly. What do you mean by evolve? Zordon. Rita Repulsa wants to obtain her power coins to conquer this universe, and to achieve this, she has tricked some teenagers into becoming her own team of Rangers. Billy. It doesn't make sense. The Morpher Network Masters choose who will be the next generation. You don't just become a Ranger like that. Zordon. Rita corrupted her currency to transfer her power to morphers that she herself designed. Jason. How powerful are these new Rangers? Zordon. Quite a lot, and that's why they have to evolve their powers, and their connection to the Morpher Network. Izuku. And how would we do it? Zordon. They do, you don't. Trini. Why not Izuku? Zordon. His union with Lord Drakkon's coin is more than enough for him, he just needs to learn to control his powers. Izuku. I see. Alpha. Alright, guys, come with me, except you, Izuku. The Rangers follow Alpha to another room, while Izuku stays with Zordon. Zordon. Izuku, I suppose you feel left out. Izuku. Yes, a little, but I'm used to it. Zordon. I understand your feelings, you know, Rita and I were once part of the Ranger team in this universe. We were very close, she was my best friend. But unfortunately, power blinded her and turned her into what she is now. But sometimes, I like to think that something of my friend still remains somewhere in that evil being. Izuku. I see, Zordon, I promise I will bring the real Rita back. With the Rangers, they were all in a completely white room. A hologram of Alpha appears in front of them. Alpha. Rangers, show your coins. The Rangers take out their coins. Alpha. Now, place your coins on the ground. The Rangers obey, and place them on the ground. The coins begin to emit a blinding light, and the Rangers would be enveloped in this light. In Musafatu, the students were explaining to their teachers everything Rita had told them. Aizawa. It's very hard to believe. Nimuri. Although some officers reported that a group of people in colorful outfits stopped a kidnapping. Nezu. Perhaps it's a good idea to give our students a chance. Who's in favor? All the teachers raised their hands. Nezu. All right, it's decided, but just out of curiosity, students, how many of those morphers did Miss Rita Repulsa give you? Uraraka. 5, I thought Deku could use one. Nezu. And has anyone heard anything about young Midoriya? Uraraka. I haven't seen him since this morning. All Might. How strange, young Izuku is always punctual. Aizawa. One thing at a time, first, I'd like to see what new skills you possess. Students. Yes, open mouth smile. A few minutes later, Iida, Denki, Bakugo, and Uraraka were in a training area. Bakugo activates his morpher, and would be the first to transform. Bakugo. A sword, he didn't need something stupid like this, he sticks it in the ground. The others transform, and they would see that they also had weapons. Iida. It looks like an umbrella looking at his weapon. The tip of Iida's weapon begins to light up, and from it emerges a powerful beam of energy that disintegrates some walls. Everyone. Fearful. Iida. I'd better keep it in the air, points upwards. Uraraka. Meanwhile, was trying to figure out what her boots were doing. Uraraka jumps, and would shoot off into the sky. Bakugo takes his sword, and an energy resembling red fire would come out of the blade of his sword. Bakugo makes a cut with his sword in the ground, and flames would come out of the cut, creating a wall of fire. Bakugo. I could get used to this. With an arrogant smile. Denki's son. Denki. This doesn't make sense. What good is a bow if I don't have arrows? Iida. Pretend you have an arrow, and just shoot it. Denki does so, and an energy arrow would be created in his hand and bow. Denki fires, and blows up a combat robot. Denki. Infinite ammo, cool. Uraraka falls on top of both of them. Uraraka. I want to throw up, face with spiral eyes. Bakugo approaches the three. Bakugo. Let's find those damn extras. With Izuku. He and Zordon were talking, but at that moment, the doors opened, and Izuku was amazed to see his classmates. Izuku. I can't believe it, open-mouth smile. Kimberly. This is amazing. Jumping for joy. Zordon. These suits are only for highly dangerous battles. You can alternate between this mode and your normal transformations. Jason. Thank you, Zordon. At that moment, Jason's arm begins to generate energy discharges, and a kind of weapon appears in his hand. Jason. Wow, incredible. Looking at the blade of his weapon, how did I do that? Alpha. The weapon comes with the suit. The other Rangers would try to activate their weapons, and weapons with light energy would appear in their hands. Kimberly. I have a crossbow, open-mouth smile. Billy. How does this work? Does it trigger a power grid or something? Trini. I like these energy daggers. Izuku would just look at the Rangers with some amazement. Saba. Are you jealous? Izuku. Me. No, besides, I already have you. Saba. How flattering. Billy accidentally fires his gun, causing Kimberly and Izuku to become trapped in his net. Billy. I'm sorry. Izuku and Kimberly were slightly blushing, but it wouldn't be visible because of their helmets. Billy. Are you guys okay? Kimberly. SC. Billy presses a holographic button on his gun, and the net disappears. Izuku and Kimberly fall to the ground, and both of them don't know what to say about what just happened. At that moment, an alarm is activated. Alpha approaches the monitors. Alpha. Rita's Rangers are in Musafatu. Jason. We'll take care of it. Zordon. I suggest you use your human appearances so as not to attract attention. Zack. Okay. The Rangers transform back, and a beam of energy returns them to Earth. They all reappear in an alley, but Izuku had a new outfit. Kimberly. You look good. Izuku. It's not really my style, but I like it. Jason. Does anyone know where the Rangers are? Billy. Maybe that crowd knows, points out of the alley. They all come out of the alley, and they would see the Dragon Keepers being cheered by the people. Zack. Is it just me, or do people love them? Trini. It's pretty obvious, Zack. Uraraka sees Izuku in the crowd, and approaches him. Uraraka. Deku, you had me worried sick, hugs him. Izuku didn't know what was happening. Izuku. Do I know you? He breaks free from Uraraka's grip. Uraraka. Soy yo, Ochako. Izuku is in shock. Izuku. What? Bakugo, Iida, and Denki approach them. Kimberly. Do you know them, Izuku? Uraraka looks behind Izuku, and sees the 5 boys behind him. Bakugo. Hey, nerd, who are these extras? Zack gets angry at what Bakugo said. Zack. Hey, who do you think you are, talking to my friends like that? He approaches him. Jason. Zack, calm down. Bakugo. You better listen to your red friend. Iida. Bakugo, that's enough. Uraraka takes Izuku by the hands, and leads him away from all the commotion. Uraraka. Izuku Midoriya, you are officially a member of the Dragon Keepers. Izuku didn't understand, but he saw Uraraka hand him a morpher. Uraraka. Congratulations, Deku, smile. Izuku takes it, but he knew very well what was really happening. Izuku didn't know what to do at this moment. Uraraka had given him a Dragon Keeper's morpher. Uraraka. Come on, Deku, try it. Izuku. I don't know if I want to do this. Uraraka. What, but why not? This is a great opportunity. You could fulfill your dream of being a hero right now. Come on, this will be fun and a great opportunity in your life. Izuku. I can't, I just can't. He hands the morpher to Uraraka. Uraraka takes the morpher, and sees Izuku running away from the place. Uraraka. Deku, Espera. Uraraka uses her boots, and manages to catch up to Izuku. Uraraka. Deku, please, just tell me what's happening to you. Izuku doesn't say a word, and walks away from Uraraka. A few minutes later, Izuku was sitting on a park bench, looking at his coin. At that moment, Izuku feels someone's hand on his shoulder, and when he turns around, he sees Kimberly. Kimberly. Are you feeling okay, Izuku? Izuku. No, I'm not okay. Damn it, I don't even know how to react to this. Kimberly. Relax, tell me what's wrong. Sits next to him. Izuku. My friends, my comrades, are Rita Repulsa's rangers. They don't even know they were chosen to serve her, and my first friend asked me to join them. To be honest, I don't even know how to save them now. Kimberly was shocked and worried by what Izuku said. Kimberly takes Izuku's hand. Kimberly. Don't worry, I'll help you figure this out, but for now, maybe I know how to help with the part about joining them. Izuku. Seriously, Kimberly. Yes, let's look for the others. Zack might be fighting with that Red Ranger. A few minutes later, everyone was back on the ship. Jason, Billy, Zack, and Trini were now talking privately, away from Izuku and Kimberly. Billy. Well, I think that since Rita and her rangers are here, we should stay for a while, just until we solve this problem. Jason. What will we tell our parents? Zack. School trip. Trini. Don't make things up. Zack. Not even a child would believe that. Zack. I just wanted to make a suggestion. With Izuku. Zordon. I think it's a somewhat risky idea. Izuku. It's safe, I'm going to absorb the evil essence of the morpher, and that way I'll be able to have its transformation. Alpha. It might work, but we still don't agree, and another thing, your teammates will instantly realize that you're not using the morpher they gave you to transform. Izuku and Kimberly realize that last point. Kimberly. Oh, that's right, I don't think I thought of that. Alpha. But I think I can help you with the morpher. Izuku. Seriously, Alpha. Yes, just tell them you agree to join them, and ask them for the morpher. Izuku. Okay, I'll do it right away. A few minutes later, Izuku was now walking towards the Class 1A dormitory building. Young Midoriya. Wait. Izuku turns around, and sees All Might walking towards him. Izuku. All Might, it's good to see you, what's up? All Might. Your classmates told me and the teachers that you weren't sure about joining the Dragon Keeper's team. Izuku. Well, my situation is complicated. All Might. Young Midoriya, this is a unique opportunity, you should accept it, you could finally become the hero you so desperately want to be. Izuku. Yes, you're right, I'll accept the proposal. A few minutes later, Izuku was already right outside the dormitories. Izuku takes an earphone out of his pocket and puts it in his left ear. The hearing aid lights up, and disappears. Izuku. Billy, you really are a genius. Billy. Thanks, mate, now let the show begin. Izuku opens the door and enters the building, and immediately Uraraka approaches him. Uraraka. Deku, please tell me why you don't want to be part of our new team. With great curiosity. Kimberly. Her voice is so cute, open-mouth smile. Izuku. Well, I've thought it over, and I'd like to be part of your team, of course, if you'll still accept me trying not to look suspicious. Zack. Try to stay calm, bro. Uraraka. That's great, shouts at the top of her lungs. Trini. What a high-pitched scream. With a ringing in her ears. Uraraka takes the morpher out of her pocket and hands it to Izuku. Izuku takes it, and stares at it intently. Uraraka. Okay, try it, slightly smiling face. Izuku. I'll try it tomorrow, I'm a bit tired right now. Uraraka. Oh, well, if you say so, rest, Deku. Izuku. Yes, well, good night, Uraraka. Izuku quickly enters the elevator. Izuku. Ready, Alpha. Alpha. Good work, Izuku, preparing teleportation. Izuku is teleported to the ship. Izuku. Okay, here you go, Alpha. Izuku enters the morpher to Alpha. Alpha. I have to admit, Rita did an excellent job. I'll start cleaning her systems to make it safe to use. Leaves the room. The Rangers approach Izuku. Billy. Hey, Izuku, we were all talking, and we thought maybe it would be best if we stayed for a while, just until we defeat Rita. What do you think? Izuku. That's fine by me, I don't see any problem. Jason. Well, there is a small problem. Izuku. And that would be it. Trini. It would be quite suspicious if 5 teenagers appeared out of nowhere. Izuku. Who would notice you guys are in Musafatu? Zack. Your friends already know us, and they might suspect us. Izuku. Okay, what do you plan to do? Billy. Enroll us in your academy. Izuku. Wait, what did you just say? The next day, Izuku could be seen watching the news on his phone, and at that moment, Uraraka approached him. Uraraka. Hola, Deku, como te va? Izuku. Oh, Uraraka, I'm fine, how about you? Uraraka. Well, I'm doing pretty well. We were all thinking about maybe going to train after school, what do you say? Izuku. I don't know, I already had plans, but maybe I can spend some time with you guys. Uraraka would be somewhat perplexed by what Izuku said. Uraraka. You've been a little distant lately, what's wrong? Izuku. I don't know what you're talking about. Uraraka stares at him. Uraraka. Deku, you know you can tell me anything. Izuku. It's kind of complicated to explain. Uraraka. Deku, come on, tell me, approaching him. Izuku. Yo. Luckily, Professor Aizawa enters the classroom, saving our green-haired friend. Aizawa. Alright, everyone pay attention. I've been informed that there will be a new class for heroes, and some of you will be transferring to that class. Everyone was surprised by what the teacher said, but Izuku was somewhat intrigued by what Aizawa said. Aizawa. When I mentioned their names, they took their things and headed to the classroom next door. Everyone nods. Aizawa. Izuku Midoriya, looking at a list. Izuku takes his backpack and leaves the classroom. Izuku. Why do I feel like they had something to do with all this? Izuku enters the classroom and sees his ranger friends. Kimberly. Hola, Izuku, open mouth smile, hand waving. Izuku. What did you do? Face with raised eyebrow. Billy. Well, I just sent a message to the school principal, and enrolled us as exchange students from the United States. Izuku. It's pretty impressive, but I don't think they considered adding students from my class to this class as well. Zack. Billy already took care of choosing who to add. At that moment, the other students enter the classroom, and Izuku is surprised to see Bakugo, Uraraka, Denki, and Iida. Izuku. Are you serious, Billy? Billy. I thought maybe it was the best option. Izuku. Well, I can't complain, unamused. A few minutes later, everyone was already in class, but Izuku kept staring at his Keeper Dragon Morpher and his power coin. At that moment, the recess bell rings. Jason approaches Izuku. Jason. Do you want to come with us, Izuku? Izuku. Sure, I don't see why not. Takes his Morpher and his coin. The Rangers leave the classroom, and Uraraka is somewhat confused. Uraraka. Those boys are definitely hiding something. Denki. You think so? Uraraka. Yes, Deku said he couldn't spend time with us, but he went with them. That doesn't seem normal to me. Bakugo. They're probably just other losers like him. With Izuku, he and his friends would arrive at the cafeteria. Zack. Okay, I guess we can talk freely here. Pulls out some headphones. They all approach a table away from the rest. Izuku. I don't understand why you chose those with corrupted morphers, looking at Billy. Billy. I thought that way we could keep a better eye on them, besides, I don't think they've recognized us yet. Izuku. Maybe, but they'll also realize at any moment that something is wrong. Trini. Don't worry, they'll never realize we're Rangers. Kan Uraraka. She and her friends were talking while watching Izuku and his new friends. Momo. Why do you distrust those boys? They seem like good people. Uraraka. They seem that way, but I feel like something's not right. At that moment, Uraraka's morpher begins to generate a signal. Uraraka. I have to go. She leaves the place. Iida, Bakugo, and Denki leave the cafeteria, and that would be noticed by Izuku and the Rangers. Zack. Donde van? Izuku. I don't know, but maybe I should follow them. Kimberly. Let us know if anything happens. Izuku nods, and leaves the cafeteria. Con Uraraka. She and her colleagues enter an office, and in that place, Rita Repulsa was found. Iida. Did you call us, Miss Repulsa? Rita. Yes, there's an attack happening in the city center. Turns on a screen. The 4 students watch, and see a horde of sentinels attacking the city. Uraraka. How awful. Rita. Go, you have to stop them. Everyone. Yes. The students leave the office and run towards the exit. Izuku had heard everything, and he knew exactly what to do. Izuku. Morphing time. He takes out his coin. A few minutes later, the 4 arrive at the place where the sentries were located. Bakugo. Let's finish off these extras. Everyone is transformed. The 4 of them go against the sentries, and the fight begins. With Izuku, he was flying to the location of the Dragon Keepers, and upon arriving, he would see how the sentinels outnumbered them. Izuku lands on a rooftop and fires an energy beam at the sentries. Saba. I suggest you use the Dragon Keeper morpher. Izuku. I still have my doubts about using it. Saba. If you use it, you'll gain their trust, go ahead. Izuku. Size, fine, puts the morpher on his wrist, go ahead. Izuku activates the morpher, and transforms. Izuku. Okay, let's do this. Izuku jumps up and punches a sentry from above. The sentry charges at Izuku, but he dodges all of its attacks, then punches it, destroying it. Uraraka turns around, and is surprised to see Izuku. Uraraka. Deku. Open mouth smile. Uraraka approaches him and hugs him tightly. Uraraka. I knew you'd join us, this is great. Open mouth smile. Izuku. Yeah, of course. They separate, and Uraraka activates her boots. Uraraka. Try using your weapon. Izuku. Yes, but. Uraraka. Just concentrate, and your weapon will appear on its own. Izuku concentrates, and a huge axe appears in his hand. Izuku. Wow. Uraraka. Vamos, Deku. Izuku and Uraraka charged at the sentries, and fought hand to hand. Uraraka threw kicks, while Izuku cut down the sentries. A sentry attacks from behind, but Izuku notices him and cuts him from the head down. Uraraka jumps up and kicks a sentry in the jaw. Bakugo unleashes a powerful explosion, destroying the last sentinels. Denki. It was amazing, we're amazing. Iida. Yes, I admit it was quite interesting. Izuku detransforms, and removes his morpher. Uraraka. Why are you taking off your morpher, Deku? Izuku. A little dizzy, I'm sorry, I have to go, leaves. Uraraka was now even more confused and worried. A few minutes later, Izuku is teleported to the Ranger ship, and barely gets close to Zordon. Zordon. Greetings, Izuku, I see you're feeling a bit unwell. Izuku. Yes, today was the first time I used the morpher Rita created, but I feel different, quite weak. Sits down. Alpha approaches Izuku and scans him. Alpha. Wow, your vitality is very low, it's at critical levels. Izuku. What do you mean, Alpha? Alpha. I don't understand how, but it seems the morpher consumed all your energy. I can't understand how your classmates can use theirs. Zordon. Rita must be giving them more energy so they can use it, but if they continue like this, their bodies will no longer be able to continue, and eventually. Izuku. They will die. Kimberly and Izuku were training, while talking about their problems. Kimberly. Zordon explained to us what happened to your friends, I'm truly sorry. Izuku. There's no need to lament, I just have to find a way to help them, and if I'm honest, I think I already know what it could be. Kimberly. Please tell me which one it is. Izuku. If I manage to remove their morphers, they won't be able to transform anymore, and that way they won't be manipulated by Rita anymore. Kimberly. Ingenious, but with some flaws. Izuku. What flaws? Kimberly. You'll have to wait for the exact moment to remove their morphers, and besides, they'll notice their absence instantly, unless. Izuku. Unless. Kimberly. You could create an exact replica of their morphers using yours as a sample. Izuku. Using replicas is a deception, that would be very helpful, thanks Kim. Kimberly. You're welcome, that's what friends are for. A few minutes later, Izuku, Billy, and Alpha were creating replicas of the Dragon Keeper's morphers. Billy. Creating replicas was a very good idea, Izuku. Izuku. Kimberly told me to make them, she's quite resourceful. Billy. I see, Kimberly has always been quite resourceful, her cunning has always gotten us out of some trouble, you and she have become quite close, did you know that? Izuku. I hadn't noticed, do you think we're really close? Billy. I don't just believe it, I'm sure of it. Izuku. Okay, if you say so. Alpha. I will never understand these human customs. Kimberly. She and Trini were at a shopping mall. Kimberly. This place is amazing, star-struck. Trini. Yes, it's quite huge, there are like 1,000 shops here. Kimberly. Let's go get clothes. No, let's go eat ice cream instead. No, even better, let's go to the video game arcade to try out some dance games. Trini. Calm down, Tigress, we have time for all that, and more, but try to calm down, you don't want to scare people. Kimberly. Okay, let's have some fun. Trini. That's the spirit. They both enter a photo booth and start taking some pictures. Uraraka. She and her friends were just a few steps away from the photo booth where Trini and Kimberly were. Mina. This will be the best, I want a new wardrobe. Momo. What's wrong with the one you already have? Mina. It's out of fashion, you know what I mean, right? You get a new one every month, and you get rid of the old one. Momo. I wouldn't put it that way, my family and I donate our wardrobes to people with limited resources. Juro. That's adorable of you, Momo. Momo. Thank you for the compliment, Juro, smiling face. Uraraka looks away, and sees Trini and Kimberly. Uraraka, thinking, what? What are those two doing here? Uraraka says nothing, and simply turns her gaze back to her friends. Kimberly. She and Trini were looking at their photographs, but at that moment, she received a call on her intercom. Izuku. Kimberly. Kimberly. Izuku, what's wrong? Izuku. There are sentries attacking people outside the mall, you are the closest to the location. Trini. Don't worry, we'll take care of it. Izuku. Jason and Zach are on their way, good luck, and be careful. Hangs up. Trini. He cares about you, how sweet, looking at Kimberly. Kimberly blushes at what Trini said, but Trini pushes her into the photo booth. Kimberly. Morph time. Takes out her coin, pterodactyl. Activates her morpher. Kimberly and Trini transform, and go into action. Uraraka. She would continue having fun with her friends, but she would feel a strange sense of danger near her. Momo. Oh my god. Looking at her phone. Uraraka. What's wrong? She approaches Momo. Momo hands her phone to Uraraka, and sees the sentries. Uraraka. This isn't right, I have to go stop them. Toru. Good luck, Uraraka. I don't need it, I already have this, shows her morpher. Kimberly. She and Trini arrive at the place, and get into fighting stances. Trini. You up top and me downstairs. Kimberly. Sounds good to me. Neon wings appear on Kimberly's back, and she shoots up into the sky. Kimberly starts shooting arrows at the sentries, while Trini, with super speed, hits and destroys them. Kimberly shoots a special arrow, and this causes a magnetic field that attracts all the sentries, causing them to collide with each other. Trini strikes a sentry at some pressure points, and it explodes. At that moment, Uraraka arrives at the place, and transforms. This would be noticed by Trini and Kimberly, who approached Uraraka. Trini. Lindo cosplay. Kimberly nudges him with her elbow. Uraraka activates her boots and tries to kick Trini and Kimberly. Trini. Do you think the same as me, Kim? Kimberly. Sorry. Kimberly and Trini press their morphers, and both transform into their evolutions. Uraraka is surprised, but she refocuses. Uraraka throws a kick, but Kimberly blocks it with her energy blades. Kimberly fires a shot with her crossbow, and it sends Uraraka flying. Uraraka quickly stands up and runs at super speed towards them. Trini uses her powers, and at a higher speed blocks Uraraka's attack, then punches her in the stomach. Uraraka backs away, and Kimberly takes advantage of that to shoot again. Uraraka ends up taking the full force of the shots, and is knocked out on the ground. At that moment, Jason and Zack arrive at the location. Zack: wow, it looks like you guys took care of all the fun. Jason: we have to get out of here, the police are about to arrive. Uraraka regains consciousness for a moment, but only sees the Rangers being teleported away. Uraraka transforms back, and her friends arrive at the scene. Momo: Uraraka, are you alright? Uraraka: no, my legs hurt a lot. Blew it. With the Rangers, everyone arrives at the Ranger ship, and Kimberly approaches Izuku. Kimberly: is everything ready for the plan? Izuku: more than ready. Izuku takes a box and shows the fake morphers. Izuku: now, I just have to find the right moment to replace the morphers. Kimberly: good idea, and hey, can we talk in private? Izuku: sure. Izuku puts the box aside, and he and Kimberly go to another room. Trini: it's more than obvious that they like each other. Billy: exactly. With Izuku: Izuku, what do you want to talk about? Kimberly: well, I just wanted to know if we could go out somewhere sometime or. Izuku: like on a date. Kimberly: I wouldn't call it a date, it's more like a friendly outing, only it would just be you and me. Izuku: sure, that sounds fun. Kimberly: okay, maybe tomorrow. Izuku: sure, that sounds good to me. That same night, we find ourselves in the dormitories of Class 1A, and Uraraka was experiencing quite a lot of pain in her legs. Uraraka: ouch, that hurts a lot. Blew it. Momo: don't worry, Uraraka, I'm sure Recovery Girl will be here soon. Uraraka: they really do hurt. Mina: perhaps you reached your power limit in the fight against those two Rangers. Uraraka: yes, maybe, when I have that imitator of mine in front of me, she's going to pay for it. The doors open, and Izuku enters the building. Uraraka: Deku open mouth smile. Uraraka tries to stand up, but falls to the ground. Izuku helps Uraraka get up, and in the process, he swaps his mother morpher for a fake one. Izuku: are you alright, Uraraka? Uraraka: yeah, thanks, Deku. Uraraka notices Izuku's new outfit. Uraraka: what a lovely outfit, you look great. Izuku: oh, this. Well, I thought it was time for a change. Mina: suspicious, why did you choose to change your outfit now? Izuku: why not? Mina begins to suspect Izuku. A few minutes later, Izuku was looking at Uraraka's morpher, and her Dragon Keeper morpher. Izuku: that makes 3 more to go. Kimberly: she and Trini were training with their new skills. Kimberly activates her gift, and shoots off towards Trini. Trini dodges Kimberly at super speed, then throws her energy daggers at her. Kimberly dodges Trini's attack and starts shooting energy arrows at her. Trini dodges Kimberly's shots, then runs along the wall, heading towards Kimberly. Kimberly tries to dodge Trini, but Trini lunges at her. Both fall to the ground, and transform. Kimberly: that was so much fun. Open mouth smile. They both stand up. Trini: have you already planned where you'll take Izuku? Kimberly: I thought we could see a movie at the cinema, would that be okay? Trini: don't ask me, I'm not the one who's going to kiss him. Kimberly: for the last time, it's not a date, and we're not going to kiss. Trini: of course, of course. With Izuku. Izuku: Denki, can I borrow your morpher? Denki: sure, here you go. Hands over his morpher. Izuku: thank you. Takes it and leaves. Izuku: mind, what an idiot. A few minutes later, Iida was cooking, and had removed his morpher so as not to cause any harm. Izuku stealthily approaches Iida. Iida: oh, Midoriya, I see you're back. Izuku: yes, I thought it was time to go back. Iida: okay. He turns his attention back to his food. Izuku moves a little closer to Iida, and they exchange morphers. Izuku, thinking, Red is missing. At that moment, Izuku's phone receives a notification. Izuku turns on his phone, and sees that it was a message from Kimberly. Kimberly: I'm outside, are you ready? Izuku: I'll be right out. Izuku leaves the kitchen and approaches the front door. Before Izuku could leave, Mina stood in front of him. Mina: where do you think you're going? You just got here. Izuku. I have work to do. Mina. Work? You don't have a job. Izuku. Then I'll go for a walk. Moves Mina out of his way. See you later. Mina leaves. Mina. That boy has changed. Toru. You said it right next to him. Mina. Were you here the whole time? Toru. Yes, is something wrong? Mina. Why are you naked? Mineta is right in the other room. Toru. I was hot. With Izuku. He and Kimberly had already met. Kimberly. Nice outfit, it looks like your suit. Izuku. Thanks, you look great too. Kimberly. I just put on the first thing I found, it's not a big deal. Izuku. Well, but the truth is you look very beautiful. Kimberly blushes at what Izuku said. Kimberly. Okay, changing the subject, get ready for the most fun night of your life. They both leave, but what they didn't know was that they were being watched by Rita Repulsa. Rita reproaches. Two birds with one stone, this will be interesting. A few minutes later, Izuku and Kimberly had arrived at the movie theater. Izuku. Are you a fan of these kinds of movies? Looking at the movie listings tonight they're only showing science fiction movies. Kimberly. I love these movies, the action, the romance, the suspense, I love them all. Izuku. Okay, then, let's go in. They both enter the movie theater and take a seat. The movie begins. 20 minutes later. Kimberly. Is that what they call an explosion? Izuku. I know, right. I bet my White Ranger attack would surpass that. Kimberly. Laser arrows. Izuku. Exactly. 30 minutes later. The movie ends. Kimberly. This movie sucks. Izuku. I know, what were we thinking? They both leave the movie theater and look at the posters to choose the next movie. Kimberly. Why is there only Marvel stuff? Izuku. Maybe they became even more popular than they already were, but look, takes out his phone, I think there's something we might see in the future, plays a video. Kimberly. Now that's a real movie. Izuku. I can't wait to see it. Kimberly. Yes, it's going to be. Kimberly couldn't finish, as an earthquake shook the whole place. They both go outside, and they would see a huge sentinel attacking the city. Kimberly. Morphing time. They take out their coins. Pterodactyl. It transforms. Izuku. Drakkon transforms. Izuku. Okay, Saba, how do we stop the big guy? Saba. It's time to activate your Zord. Transforms into the dagger. Izuku. What's so bad? Kimberly. It's simple, I'll show you. Kimberly steps forward. Kimberly. Power, Dino Zord. At that moment, the sky began to cloud over, and something emerged from among the clouds. Izuku. Wow, Kimberly doesn't teleport to the shore. Izuku. Well, I think in my case I should use the flute. Izuku begins to play the flute, and something begins to emerge from the depths of the dock's bay. A creature emerges from the depths, with a terrifying and threatening appearance. Izuku. Is that my Zord? Impressed. Saba. I present to you, the Black Dragon. Izuku flies straight to the Black Dragon, and lands on its head. Izuku. Alright, buddy, let's go after that bad guy. The Black Dragon charges at the Sentinel and begins to attack him with its claws. The Sentinel charges at the Black Dragon, and strikes it in the red sphere on its chest. Kimberly's Zord fires some missiles, and damages the giant sentry's back. The Sentinel tries to knock down Kimberly's Zord, but the Black Dragon damages it with its claws. Kimberly. Izuku, can you hear me? Using the communicator on her helmet. Izuku. Loud and clear, Kim. Kimberly. Let's deliver the final blow to this giant together. Izuku. Izuku. Me parece bien. Kimberly. Okay, combined Zords. The Black Dragon and Kimberly's Zord merge into one. Kimberly and Izuku jump onto the rooftop of a building, and they would see the Mega Zord fighting against the giant Sentinel. Izuku. That was definitely Lord Drakkon's Zord. Kimberly. Yes, but now it belongs to you, and it will help us stop Rita. By the way, do you already have the Dragon Keeper's morphers? Izuku. Only 3, I still need Bakugos. Kimberly. I see. The Mega Zord defeats the Sentinel, and Izuku and Kimberly watch as it explodes without leaving a trace. With Rita, she wakes up suddenly, and she's quite angry. Rita. Damn you, Drakkon, One day, I will have all the coins of power, and this universe will know true terror. With Izuku, he and Kimberly were now on the Ranger ship. Alpha approaches them, and Izuku hands over the Dragon Keeper's morphers. Alpha. Very good work, Izuku. I'm going to start severing their connection with Rita Repulsa. Izuku. Understood, Alpha. Kimberly and Izuku approach Zordon. Zordon. Excellent work today, Rangers, and good job handling the Black Dragon, Izuku. Izuku. It was incredible, I hope I can control it again someday. Kimberly. Izuku, I assure you that now that you're a Ranger, you're going to be controlling that Zord almost every day. Izuku. Seriously, Kimberly. Yes, that's right. A few days later, our green-haired friend and Kimberly had become quite close, and they work quite well together, but we're not going to focus on them today. Instead, we're going to focus on the team leader, Jason. The Red Ranger was training in the company of Billy. Jason. How long will we have to be here? This place is starting to scare me. Hitting a punching bag. Billy. Just a couple more weeks. Izuku managed to get the morphers of 3 Dragon Keepers, we only need the morpher of the Red Dragon Keeper. Jason stops his punches and approaches Billy. Jason. I can take care of getting it. Billy. Are you sure about that? It could be risky. Jason. Don't worry, I have a plan. A few minutes later, everyone was in class, and Denki, Iida, and Uraraka could be seen looking quite nervous. Zack. Have they noticed yet? Whispering in Trini's ear. Trini. Probably. At that moment, All Might enters the classroom. All Might. Good day, young students, I hope you are all doing great today. The young heroes nod, but the Rangers remain neutral. All Might. All right, today you're going to have combat training, so grab your PE uniforms and head to the training yard. A few minutes later, everyone was already in the training yard, ready for combat. All Might. Okay, pick someone to practice with. Everyone agreed, and Jason quickly approached Bakugo. Jason. Hey, do you want to practice with me? Bakugo. Go to hell, I'm not wasting my time with you, extra. Jason. What, are you afraid of losing to me? Bakugo gets angry at what Jason said. Bakugo. You're more than dead, you damn extra. A few minutes later, they were all already fighting, and Jason was blocking Bakugo's erratic punches. Bakugo steps back, and unleashes an explosion. Jason dodges it, then kicks Bakugo in the face. Bakugo takes the full force of it, and falls to the ground. Jason approaches him and extends his hand to help him up. Bakugo gets up on his own and tries to hit Jason again, but Jason dodges his punch. With Izuku, he and Kimberly watched everything from a bench. Kimberly. This is getting interesting, I bet Jason will win. Izuku. You're only betting on the winner, Bakugo will surely get tired before Jason even starts to sweat. Kimberly. Yes, I bet Jason turned him into mush. With Jason, he dodges all of Bakugo's explosions, then hits him right on one of his pressure points, causing Bakugo to fall to the ground in considerable pain. Jason. Hey, living grenade, are you ready to surrender yet? Bakugo tried to stand up, but it was not possible for him now. Jason sees Bakugo's wrists, and notices that he wasn't wearing his morpher. Jason thinking, I'll probably leave it in his room. I could go get it, but it would be quite suspicious if I suddenly disappeared. I'd better wait for the right moment. Izuku and Kimberly approach Jason, while Iida and Denki take Bakugo to the infirmary. Kimberly. Well done, Jason, you really outdid yourself with the pressure point thing. Jason. What do you want me to say? I've always had a good eye for that. Izuku begins to connect the dots. Izuku. Wait, your quirk is. Jason. I can see the pressure points of anything or any living being perfectly. Izuku. Brilliant, Jason. Yes, I suppose so, but I actually prefer to use my combat skills. They're more efficient when it comes to fighting, and besides, a gift isn't what makes you special, but how you use it. Izuku. Yes, you're right. Bakugo's son. He was being placed on a stretcher in the infirmary. Iida. That boy didn't even use his gift to defend himself, that's quite strange in my opinion. Bakugo. That bastard will pay for this. A few minutes later, Jason and his friends were heading to the cafeteria, but Billy would stop them. Billy. Guys, a horde of sentries is attacking a building downtown. Izuku. We have work to do. Jason. Rangers, go. Everyone leaves the UA building and runs to the site of the attack. A few minutes later, everyone arrives at the place, and they are transformed. Jason. Morph time. He takes out his coin. Tyrannosaurus. He activates his morpher. Billy. Triceratops Octiva Su morpher. Kimberly. Pterodactyl activates her morpher. Zack. Juggernaut activated on morpher. Trini. Saber-toothed tiger activates her morpher. Izuku. Drakkon activates his morpher. Everyone transforms into the Power Rangers. Jason. Alright, Rangers, let's finish off these ceramic soldiers. The Rangers charge at the Sentinels and begin destroying them. At the UA, Bakugo was watching television, but at that moment, he would see on the news everything that was happening outside. Bakugo. Damn it, angry. Bakugo stands up and leaves the infirmary. A few minutes later, Bakugo arrives at the location, and sees the Rangers fighting against the Sentinels. Bakugo transforms, and with a simple movement of his sword, destroys all the sentries. Bakugo approaches the Rangers and threatens them with his sword. Izuku. The day was going so well, disappointed to see Bakugo. Kimberly. Hey, approaches Bakugo, can you leave? We were about to. Bakugo doesn't let Kimberly finish, as he tries to cut her with his sword, but Izuku stops him by blocking the cut with Saba. Izuku. Are you okay? Worried. Kimberly. Yes, thank you for saving me, smiling face. Jason attacks Bakugo, and manages to separate him from his friends. Jason. Why don't you pick on someone your own size? He pulls a sword from its sheath on his belt. Bakugo lunges at Jason and tries to cut him. Bakugo. Don't even think I'll let you win. Jason. I don't plan to force you to do it. Bakugo ignites his sword in red fire and launches an aerial slash at Jason. Jason tries to dodge it, but ends up getting hit full force. Bakugo takes advantage of that, and throws an explosion at Jason. Bakugo. That was easy. All the Rangers were ready to face Bakugo. Bakugo. Don't think I'll have mercy on you. Bakugo was about to attack, but something started to emerge from the fire behind him, and that something was Jason, but in his second form. Jason. You and I, we're not finished yet. Jason's right hand transforms into a sword. Jason. Ready for round 2. Bakugo gets even angrier, and attacks Jason with everything he's got. Jason blocks all of Bakugo's cuts, and his sword begins to transform. Jason launches an aerial slash at Bakugo, and Bakugo sends him flying into a wall. Bakugo tries to stand up, and tries to grab his sword, but Jason's sword transforms into a whip. Jason takes Bakugo's sword and throws it at Izuku. Izuku catches her. Bakugo barely manages to stand up, only to collapse back to the ground and lose consciousness. Izuku approaches Bakugo and takes his morpher. Bakugo transforms back, and his sword disappears. Izuku places the fake morpher on Bakugo, and puts the real one in his suit pocket. Zack approaches Jason and punches him in the shoulder. Zack. Dude, that was awesome, you were incredible. Jason. Yes, I think it was amazing. Billy. You're getting really good with the upgrades. Izuku. Yeah, it was amazing, but well, what now, leader? Jason. Now, we wait for Rita Repulsa to come out of hiding. A few days later, the entire Class 1A could be seen begging Izuku to retrieve the morphers. Uraraka. Deku, please, get our morphers back. Pleading face. Izuku. But it. Bakugo grabs Izuku by the collar of his shirt. Bakugo. Listen up, you fucking piece of shit, get the morphers back, or I swear I'll kill you in the worst way possible. Everyone takes a step back, and Izuku clenches his fists, generating bursts of red energy. Izuku was about to hit Bakugo, but decided not to, so as not to cause any trouble. Izuku. Okay, I'll get them back. Bakugo lets go of Izuku, and he falls to the ground. Bakugo. You better get my morpher back. Everyone moves away from Izuku. Izuku. Thanks for helping me stand up. Using sarcasm while standing up. A few minutes later, Izuku was in the Ranger ship, talking with his friends. Billy. I don't think they value you anymore. Izuku. Is it that obvious? Trini. To be honest, I would change schools if I were you. Izuku covers his face with his hands, and Kimberly takes hold of his shoulders. Kimberly. Don't worry, I'm sure we'll find a solution. Jason. I think I already have one. Everyone stares at Jason. Jason. You're the last one who has his Dragon Keeper morpher. We could fake a confrontation, and you could pretend that we defeated you, and take your morpher, and that way, Rita will be left completely without rangers. Billy. Your plan has some flaws, but I think it might work, about 50%. Zach. I like it, it'll be quite fun. Kimberly. What do you say, Izuku? Looking at her friend. Izuku. I think it's the best option we have for now, besides, I'm a bit stressed and I don't have many ideas, to say the least. Kimberly strokes the green-haired boy's head, then kisses him on the cheek. Everyone was speechless at what had just happened. Trini. Did I see wrong, or did Kimberly just kiss Izuku? Billy. I think the oxygen levels on the ship are starting to drop, and we're hallucinating from lack of air. Zach. Yes, that must be it. While everyone was trying to pretend that what happened wasn't real, Izuku was quite flushed from what had happened a few seconds ago. Izuku. Let's continue with Jason's plan. A few hours later, the plan was ready, everyone was in position, and Class 1A knew nothing about what was happening. Trini. Okay, does everyone remember what they have to do? Kimberly. Sip. Zach. Completely. Trini. Okay, let's go in. The three of them entered the classroom, and they would see that the Dragon Keepers were not there. Trini. It seems that everything is going according to plan. With Izuku, he was using binoculars, and he would see the Dragon Keepers leaving the cafeteria. Izuku. Okay, they're heading to the classroom now. In a few seconds, they'll be passing through the hallway where the show will begin. Billy and Jason take their power coins. Jason. Morphing time, activate their morphers. Tyrannosaurus. Billy. Triceratops. Izuku puts on his Dragon Keeper morpher, and activates it. Izuku. Let's finish this once and for all. Transforms. Izuku. Okay, remember, this has to look real, no trying to fake it, this has to look, and feel, 100% real. Jason draws his weapon and shoots Izuku, sending him flying to the indicated location. Billy. Okay, we'll wait a few seconds, and then we'll go for it. With Izuku, he passes through one wall, then crashes into another, and ends up right in the Dragon Keeper's line of sight. Uraraka. Deku, what's wrong? Izuku. You have to get out of here, it's too dangerous. Feigning pain as he stands up. Iida. No way, we won't let them keep our morphers, besides, if you can handle them, so can we. Izuku looks somewhat disappointed at his classmates. At that moment, Billy and Jason enter the place through the large hole that Izuku caused. Izuku gets to his feet, but Bakugo lunges at Jason. Bakugo. I order you to return my morpher to me right now, you damn loser. Grabbing him by the collar of his suit, Jason grabs Bakugo by the wrists and stares at him. Jason. You're not the one to order me around. Breaks her wrists. Bakugo falls to his knees and looks at his broken wrists. Bakugo. This isn't good. Iida quickly tries to hit Billy, but he blocks Iida's blows with his weapon. Izuku, thinking this isn't going well. Uraraka quickly approaches Izuku and takes his axe. Izuku. No, wait. Uraraka tries to attack Jason with Izuku's axe, but he dodges the attack, then breaks the axe in two on Izuku. Saba. I'm glad I'm not that weapon. Izuku. It's good for you, but not for me. Uraraka. Deku, stop talking to yourself and start helping us. Izuku sees Billy, and he nods his head. Izuku quickly lunges at Billy, throwing several punches and kicks. Denki. It's time for things to get electrifying, generating electric shocks. Denki. 1000 volts, at your service. Everyone. Wait. Denki unleashes all his electricity, and electrocutes everyone. Izuku, Jason, and Billy are unharmed, but the others end up unconscious and injured. Izuku deactivates his suit and hands his morpher over to Jason. Jason. Well, at least my plan worked out in the end. Izuku. I wouldn't put it that way, but at least 50% of it worked. Billy. Okay, so what should we do now? Izuku. Return to the Ranger ship, and place my morpher with the rest of the Dragon Keeper's morphers. Jason. And what about you? Izuku approaches the edge of the enormous hole they left in the wall. Izuku. I have to pretend to fall so they don't suspect anything. Jason. Whatever you say, pushes him. Izuku. No, wait, Izuku couldn't finish, as he had already fallen to the ground and was somewhat injured. Billy. I think you went a little too far, Jason. 1 week later, Izuku had one arm in a cast, to pretend that he had also been injured in battle. At that moment, the Dragon Keepers enter the classroom. Izuku. Hey guys, how are you? No one answers Izuku, and they sit far away from him. At that moment, the Rangers enter the classroom. Kimberly. Hi, Izuku, how's your arm? Are you healing yet? Izuku. It still hurts a little, but it actually feels a bit better than before. Kimberly. I'm happy for you, smiling face. Uraraka turns around and sees Kimberly and Izuku talking. Uraraka thinking, what does she have that I don't? Angry. With Izuku. Zack. Dude, this is getting boring. How long until Rita Repulsa shows up and tries to destroy us? Billy. Zack, lower your voice, whispering. Zack. Why? They no longer have their morphers, besides, they are lost in their thoughts, they are completely harmless now. Jason. Maybe, but they still have their powers, and they know how to kick ass. Trini. Yes, they're kind of cool. At that moment, the classroom speakers are activated. Nezu. Dragon Keepers, please report to my office. The Dragon Keepers stand up and leave the classroom. Izuku. I think I should go too. Kimberly. Don't worry, we'll wait for you here. Jason. Good luck, buddy. Izuku nods, and leaves the classroom. Izuku approaches his classmates. Izuku. Why do you think we should go to Principal Nezu's office? Iida. Perhaps it's something he wants to tell us, or perhaps he wants to remind us of your failure to recover our morphers. Izuku. Hey, I also lost my morpher trying to get yours back, and I hurt my arm too. I don't understand why you're mad at me. Bakugo. Because you're a useless good-for-nothing, Deku. Uraraka. Yes, that's right. Izuku gets quite depressed by what his friends had said. They all arrive at Principal Nezu's office, and they see Rita Repulsa talking to him. Rita replies. I appreciate you giving me some of your time, Director Nezu. Nezu. No problem, Miss Repulsion. Rita recoils, turns around, and sees the students. Rita Repulsa. Ms. Dragon Keepers, oh bueno, Ms. X Dragon Keepers. The Dragon Keepers are surprised by what Rita Repulsa said, but Izuku remains serious in the face of Rita Repulsa's words. Uraraka. But, Miss Repulsa, we can still defeat the Rangers, just give us a little more time. Rita repulses. Little Uraraka, I'm not sure they deserve another chance, besides, why should I give them another chance? Bakugo. Because the four of us can defeat them, we already know how to do it. Izuku is intrigued by what Bakugo said. Rita repulses. As far as I know, there are 5 of you. Iida. No, we will now be 4, we have seen that Midoriya should not be a Dragon Keeper, he is too weak. Izuku is disappointed by the decision his classmates were making. Rita replies. MMMH, the fewer users of my power, the more energy I can give them, okay, I'll give you 4 a chance. Rita recoils and turns to look at Izuku. Rita repulses. And as for you, you're fired, get lost. Izuku. Well, anyway I didn't want to be a part of this anymore. Izuku leaves Principal Nezu's office, and Rita, in disgust, raises her staff. Rita's staff Repulsa begins to generate bursts of green energy, and these collide with the chests of the Dragon Keepers. The Dragon Keepers begin to be enveloped in green energy, and are covered by their respective colors. The colorful sparkles disappear, and once again the 4 of them get their suits back. Denki. Ooh, yes, we're back. Rita replies. More than that, I gave them an upgrade similar to what those Rangers have, look at their morphers. The 4 of them looked at their morphers, and they would see that there was a new button on the digital screen. Rita repulses. Press the button while saying the words, dressed mode. The 4 of them nod, and press the buttons on their morphers. Dragon Keepers. Dress up mode. The first to transform would be Denki, who begins to generate electricity uncontrollably, and metallic parts begin to emerge from his body. Denki. Now this is electroshock therapy. The next to transform would be Iida, who begins to increase in size, and his body begins to have similarities to a reptile, with the same colors as his hero's suit. Iida. Gare. Next up is Uraraka, and her face would be completely covered by her hair, and her arms would separate from her body to create giant tentacles. Uraraka's legs begin to multiply, and these transform into tentacles. The last one is Bakugo, whose skin begins to become scaly, and he begins to increase in size. His body, like Iida's, begins to resemble that of a reptile, and parts of his body begin to resemble parts of his suit. Bakugo. Gare. Nezu. This is madness. Rita repulses. Relax, they'll return to normal when their energy runs out, besides, they don't feel any kind of pain. Nezu. Oh, I see. I hope this doesn't get out of hand. Rita replies. Relax, everything is under control. Nezu. Okay. Rita repulses. Mind under my control, smile with horns. With Izuku, he had returned to the classroom, and was with his friends. Kimberly. So, what happened, Izuku? Izuku. Rita Repulsa gave them another chance. He locks the door. Izuku takes out his communicator. Izuku. Alpha, teleporters. They are all teleported to the ranger ship, and Izuku quickly runs to the vault where the morphers were located. Everyone follows Izuku to the vault. Izuku takes out his coin, and a scanner scans it. The vault opens, and Izuku realizes that all the morphers have disappeared. Izuku falls to his knees, and everyone arrives at the scene. Everyone noticed that the morphers had disappeared. Alpha. This is impossible, no one can enter the vault without going through the power coin scanner. Izuku begins to punch the ground with his fist, with considerable rage and anger. Kimberly and Billy try to stop him. Kimberly. Izuku, stop, you're going to hurt yourself, worried. Zack intervenes and holds Izuku from behind. Zack. Dude, try to calm down, being like this won't help us at all. Izuku calms down, and Zack lets him go. Izuku. Why do they never listen to me? Now quite frustrated, and covering his face with his right hand. Kimberly abraza Izuku. Kimberly. Don't worry, we'll fix it, I promise. 1 week later, we find ourselves in the ranger ship, where Alpha and Izuku were playing chess. Alpha. So, you no longer know where you belong. Izuku. I wouldn't put it that way, it's more like I don't know where I belong now. All my friends stopped talking to me, and now everyone is worshipping the Dragon Keepers. Alpha. Well, actually, you still have your ranger friends. Upon hearing Alpha's words, Izuku would feel a little better. Izuku. Yes, you're right, thanks for listening to my problems, Alpha. Alpha. You're welcome, Izuku. Kimberly. She and Trini were training in a hologram creation room. Trini. Where do you plan to go with Izuku this time? Kimberly. Well, I was thinking maybe we could go to the movies again. Trini. No, child, you have to do something different. Kimberly. What do you mean? Face with diagonal mouth. Trini. Leave it to me, and I assure you that you'll have the best date of your life. Kimberly. Okay, with some distrust. A few hours later, it was night, and Izuku was heading home, but at that moment, his phone would receive a call. Izuku picks up his phone and answers the call. Izuku. What time? Nezu. Joven Midoriya. Izuku. Principal Nezu, how did you get my name? Nezu. There's no time for explanations, I need your help, quickly. Nezu hangs up, leaving Izuku somewhat confused. Izuku. Face exhaling. Izuku takes out his coin. Izuku. Morphing time activates his morpher Drakkon. Izuku transforms and shoots off into the sky, heading towards UA. A few minutes later, Izuku lands on the rooftop of UA, and they transform. Izuku. I just hope this isn't a trap. Putting away his coin. Izuku goes downstairs and enters the school hallways. Kimberly. She was choosing what outfit to wear for her date, while Trini explains some things to her. Trini. Okay, first they're both going to dinner at a restaurant, and don't worry, they already have reverberation. Then they're going to an amusement park that Zack recommended to me, and after that. Kimberly doesn't let Trini finish. Kimberly. Trini, I appreciate it, but I think you're exaggerating a little. It's not like I'm going to ask Izuku to marry me, I just want to invite him on a date, and that's all. Trini. But I already paid for everything on the itinerary, weary. Kimberly now feels a little guilty. Kimberly. Okay, don't worry, we'll follow your itinerary, but also let Izuku and I decide on some things to have fun. Trini. Okay, winking face thumbs up. With Izuku. He arrives at Principal Nezu's office. Izuku opens the doors, and sees Principal Nezu approaching him. Nezu. Young Midoriya, close the doors, quickly. Izuku obeys, and closes the doors. Nezu approaches the doors and places the bolt. Nezu. I think we might be safe here. Izuku. Principal Nezu, what's going on? Why are you so nervous? Nezu. I made a grave mistake, young Midoriya. Izuku. What do you mean, Principal Nezu? Nezu. Let's take a seat, young Midoriya. They both take a seat on the sofa, and Director Nezu pours some tea into 2 cups. Nezu. I made the mistake of trusting Mrs. Rita Repulsa. Izuku, thinking he's only realizing this now. Unamused. Nezu. I thought she wanted to help us, but it turned out to be an elaborate deception by her, created to trick my students into becoming her personal weapons. Izuku takes a sip of tea and stands up. Izuku. Where is she now? Nezu. I don't know, but I'm sure that if we get involved we'll end up dead. Izuku. Maybe a normal hero or one of the top ones, yes, but someone like me, no. Nezu. What do you mean, young Midoriya? Izuku takes out his coin. Izuku. Morphing time. Activates his morpher, Drakkon. Transforms. Nezu is shocked to see Izuku transform. Izuku. I know this is a lot to take in, but I want to help her, I want to get my comrades back, and stop Rita Repulsa, once and for all. Nezu smiles at Izuku. Nezu. I'm glad to hear that, young Midoriya, and I want to help you, in any way I can. Izuku. I appreciate it, Principal Nezu, but I'd rather you didn't get involved in this. People need you, and I couldn't bear to see him die because of me. Nezu. I see, but if you need reinforcements, you can count on me, slightly smiling face. Izuku smiles at Principal Nezu, and they transform. Nezu. Well, I suppose he has other important matters to attend to, so. Izuku. Yes, actually, I was thinking of asking a friend out. Nezu. Well then, I suggest you hurry, young Midoriya. Izuku leaves Nezu's office and goes up the stairs to the roof of the academy. Izuku goes up to the rooftop, and transforms again. Saba. You've definitely transformed more than usual today. Izuku. I like the feeling of the morpher network energy coursing through my veins. At that moment, Izuku's communicator starts beeping. Izuku answers his communicator. Trini. Izuku, listen, go to the location I'm going to send you, understood? Izuku. Sure, I'll go to the location. Trini sends the location to Izuku, and he takes flight. As Izuku flew away, someone was watching him from afar. A few minutes later, Izuku lands in an alley, and they transform. Izuku. Okay, I'm here now. Kicks a can. Kimberly. She was waiting for Izuku on the other side of the street. Kimberly. It's quite late, maybe I should go home now. At that moment, Kimberly sees Izuku in the distance. Kimberly. Izuku. Running towards him. With Izuku. 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 Face with raised eyebrow. Izuku would only manage to see a dark silhouette, and someone would attack him from behind. Imagine it's someone wearing a dark cloak. Izuku falls to the ground injured, while trying to take his coin from his pocket. Izuku tries to activate his morpher, but the mysterious subject tries to take his coin. Upon taking Izuku's coin, a surge of energy electrocutes the mysterious subject. Damn it, this will be harder than I thought. The mysterious subject takes a green crystal from his cloak, and with it, he levitates Izuku's coin. Perfect. At that moment, Kimberly arrived at the scene, and she was terrified to see what was happening. Kimberly. Izuku. Kimberly quickly springs into action. Kimberly. Pterodactyl. Transforms. I don't have time for this. Kimberly tries to hit the mysterious subject, but he simply dodges Kimberly's attacks. A purple beam shoots from his hand, and with it, he sends Kimberly flying far away. Kimberly quickly stood up, but could only watch as the mysterious character disappeared into the shadows. Kimberly transforms back, and quickly runs towards Izuku. Kimberly. Izuku. Worried, Kimberly gets on her knees and gently takes Izuku in her arms. Izuku. I'm sorry for getting you into this. Kimberly. Izuku, don't try to talk, help is on the way. Izuku. Promise me that you'll take care of yourself, okay? Izuku closes his eyes and lets his head fall to the ground. Kimberly. No, Izuku, hold on a little longer, please. Izuku didn't respond, and Kimberly was overflowing with tears. Kimberly. Izuku, please don't leave me. Kimberly. Please. A few hours later, we are located on the Ranger ship. Izuku's wounded and nearly dead body could be seen inside a cryogenic chamber. Kimberly was emotionally devastated, while Trini tried to calm her down. Billy. The camera will keep Izuku's body stable while we find a way to help him. Zack. Can't we just cure him? Billy. The object that injured Izuku contained a chemical that is attacking him at a cellular level. I need to create an antidote to reverse the effects of the chemical. Jason. Okay, Billy, take all the time you need. We're going to try to find whoever attacked Izuku and find his coin. Billy nods, and he and Alpha leave the room. Kimberly approaches Izuku's camera and places her hand on the cold glass of the camera. Kimberly. If only I had arrived a few minutes earlier, Izuku wouldn't be here. Kimberly begins to shed tears, and Trini places her hand on her friend's shoulder. Jason. If you wish, you can stay here with Izuku. Zack and I will go look for his coin. Kimberly. Really? Crying. Zack. Of course, we know how important Izuku is to you, and besides, I'd like to give whoever did this to our friend what he deserves. Kimberly. Thank you, guys. Trini. I'll stay too, in case they need reinforcements. Jason. Okay. A few minutes later, Jason and Zack were in the same place where Izuku was attacked. Zack. What exactly are we looking for? Checking a trash can. Jason. A clue or hint of what happened here. Zack checks the bottom of the trash container and finds a small fragment of the green glass. Zack takes it, and would be somewhat intrigued to see it. Zack. Jason, maybe you should check this out. Jason approaches Zack, and would be intrigued to see the crystal. Jason. Do you think the same as me, Zack? Zack. I hope not, man. A few minutes later, Billy was scanning the crystal with the help of some kind of weapon. Billy. That's strange, this seems to be emanating energy from the morpher network. Jason. Like our coins. Billy. It seems so, but in this case it's only a power source. It can't access the network and generate a ranger's powers. Zack. Is there any way you can use this to track the rest of the crystal and find Izuku's coin? Billy. It's quite likely, but I'm going to need some time, maybe it'll take me all night. Jason. Do what you have to do, Billy, we'll give you all the time you need. Billy. Good. With Trini, she was talking to Zordon, with a clear tone of anger. Trini. We can't just stand idly by, we have to attack Rita and recover Izuku's coin. Zordon. I know, and that's why we're going to need a lot of help. Trini is confused by what Zordon said, but decides to pay close attention. Trini. What do you have in mind? Face with raised eyebrow. At UA Hero Academy, Rita Repulsa could be seen holding the green crystal, which made Izuku's power coin levitate. At that moment, the Dragon Keepers enter the room. Uraraka. Miss Repulsa, we're ready for our next mission, with a smile on her face. Rita Repulsa stands up and slowly approaches the Dragon Keepers. Rita reproaches. I have an important task for you, are you sure you can accomplish it? Iida. Of course, we are heroes, and heroes never give up. Rita repudiates. Well, I suppose you're right, with everything they've done, it's clear they can handle this, besides, they're already cold enough to be able to do it. Denki. What do you mean by cold enough? Rita repulses. For God's sake, you're such a peanut brain, can't you see that? Everyone was confused by Rita's words of repulsion. Rita repulses. You are just like me, you pushed away everyone you cared about, you became more violent and ruthless, and you hurt the only person who wanted to help you. You remind me of myself at your age. Smile. Upon hearing Rita's words, Uraraka would realize that Rita had tainted all her ideals, her moral code, and had hurt her green-haired friend, both physically and emotionally. Uraraka. But what have we done? With tears in her eyes. Rita. It's too late to open your eyes, little round one. Now, it's time for you to fulfill your purpose. Rifa raises the crystal, and with it, Izuku's power coin. The Dragon Keepers didn't understand what was happening, but Uraraka had an idea of what was coming. With Izuku, despite not being able to move, he could hear everything his colleagues were saying. Kimberly was sitting next to the camera, while maintaining a sad expression. Kimberly. You know, when we met on that mission, I was quite impressed. Your ability to switch from one ranger to another seemed pretty cool to me, and your brave and heroic way of being made me feel something I never thought I could feel. Izuku didn't understand what Kimberly meant. Kimberly. You made me feel love. With Trini. She was with Alpha in a room that appeared to contain green energy capsules. Trini. What is this place? Alpha. The Morpher Energy Vault. When you open the capsules, will release so much energy that it will make you able to communicate with all the ranger teams that exist. Trini. Do I have to do it? Alpha. For the moment you are the only one available, and also, I consider you to be the only one with a military tone. Trini. Face exhaling, of course. Alpha approaches a control panel and presses a button that opens all the capsules. Energy begins to fill the room, and Trini's eyes turn green and bright. Trini. What now? Alpha. Take out your coin. Trini takes out her power coin, and it generates a yellow glow. Trini. Okay, now what? Alpha. Just give a motivational speech, the Morpher Network will do the rest. Trini takes a deep breath, and exhales. Trini. To all ranger teams, this is an official message. An imminent danger threatens our world, and it is very possible that it will also damage your worlds. That is why we need to unite, all of us. The energy returns to the capsules, and they close. Trini's eyes return to normal, and her coin stops glowing. Trini looks back, and fixes her gaze on Alpha. Trini. Did it work? Alpha. We'll have to wait to find out. A few hours later, everything was peaceful and quiet in the city of Musafatu, but at that moment, a strong earthquake began to shake everything. Buildings begin to collapse, cars explode, not even babies are safe. I felt sadness when I heard her story. Those responsible for this entire disaster were none other than the Dragon Keepers, who were on a rampage, causing a massacre throughout the city. In the ranger ship, Kimberly could be seen reading a book to Izuku. Kimberly. And they lived happily ever after. The end closes the book. I hope you liked the story, Izuku. At that moment, the lights in the room change to a red color. Kimberly. But what's happening? Anguished, Trini bursts into the room. Trini. Kim, we need you. Kimberly and Trini leave the room, leaving Izuku in the cryogenic chamber. They both arrive at the bridge and meet up with their friends. Zack. What's wrong? Billy. We detected a danger alert in Musafatu. It seems that something is attacking the entire city. Billy activates holographic monitors, and the Dragon Keepers are shown in their bestial and gigantic forms attacking the entire city. Jason. Are those, Trini, Izuku's classmates, like monsters? Kimberly. We have to stop them. Zack. The Mega Zord could fight one of them, but we're going to need a lot of help if we want to stop them all. Trini. Don't worry, Zack, I'm pretty sure we're going to get the help we need. A few minutes later, the Rangers teleport to the city, and they would see giant monsters destroying everything and sentinels attacking civilians. Jason. Rangers, morph time. Everyone takes out their coins, and they are transformed. Jason. Okay, guys, if we go down, we'll go down together. The Rangers rush into battle, and activate their weapons. With Izuku, Alpha was connecting the cryogenic chamber to several Morpher energy capsules. Alpha. If my calculations are correct, the energy will give Izuku enough strength to regain his connection with his coin. Zordon. Let's hope so, Alpha. Alpha activates a holographic display, and activates the Morpher energy capsules. The energy begins to make contact with Izuku, and he begins to thaw. Rita repulses. She was on the roof of UA Academy, holding the green crystal, which kept Izuku's coin in the air. At that moment, Izuku's coin begins to generate discharges of green energy, and these begin to crack the crystal. Rita repulsed. What? No, no. Izuku's coin destroys the crystal, and is launched into space. Rita repulsa. No. Angry. With Izuku. Izuku's body begins to heal his wounds, while he starts to get stronger. Alpha. It's working, Zordon. At that moment, the ship turns on some red lights, and an alert sound begins to be generated in the speakers. Alpha. I don't like the sound of that. At that moment, one of the ship's walls is destroyed, and an object crashes into Izuku's cryogenic chamber. A glow illuminates the entire place, and as the smoke dissipates, someone emerges from the cryogenic chamber. Izuku. Where is Rita? Alpha. Yes, Izuku, you're back. Happily hugging her friend. Izuku hugs Alpha, then breaks away from the hug. Izuku approaches Zordon and stares at him intently. Izuku. Thank you for this, Zordon. Zordon. You don't have to thank me, and besides, we have work to do. At that moment, Zordon's capsule opens, and he walks out of it. Izuku steps back, and sees Zordon's body being covered in golden and white armor. Zordon grips his weapon and activates the crystal in his helmet. Zordon. The time has come for you to unleash your full power, Izuku. Izuku. You said it. Zordon points his weapon at Izuku, and releases a powerful energy blast that increases Izuku's overall power. Khan lost Power Rangers. They were on the ground, badly injured, and almost on the verge of death. Kimberly could only watch as the sentinels and monsters approached them, ready to finish them off. Kimberly. I'm truly sorry, Izuku. I couldn't fulfill your last wish. Kimberly bursts into tears, ready to accept her fate. Worse. Blaster Dino Morpher. Laser arrows. Dino Fury Laser. At that moment, a large number of energy projectiles strike the sentries and monsters, forcing them back. Kimberly looks back, and what she sees leaves her speechless. Kimberly was now speechless, but she also felt her strength to live returning to her. At that moment, a teleportation beam falls from the sky, and Zordon and Izuku emerge from it. Izuku. Did you miss me? Kimberly couldn't help but cry tears of joy when she saw Izuku, and she would barely manage to stand up so she could approach him. When Izuku noticed this, he approached Kimberly and picked her up in his arms. Kimberly. Izuku, face holding back tears. Izuku takes off Kimberly's helmet, and takes off his own, and kisses Kimberly on the lips. Amelia. Ooh, yes, that's cool. Kimberly and Izuku break apart from the kiss, and Kimberly can't help but blush. Izuku. Go somewhere safe, I'll take care of this. Heckle approaches them both and takes Kimberly to a safe place. Izuku puts his helmet back on and takes a step forward. Andros. You lead us, Drakkon. Izuku. Alright, draws Saba. Power Rangers, let's create a new legend. Power Rangers. See, everyone rushes into battle, ready to give it their all. Izuku fought his way through the battle, with a clear objective. Destroy the Dragon Keepers. Izuku takes out his coin and picks up his morpher. Izuku. I hope this works. Izuku takes a great leap, and utters the following words. Izuku. Ninja Storm, Thunder Rangers. Izuku is enveloped in pure electricity, and that electricity splits in two, taking the form of two rangers. Both rangers run towards Denki, and grab their bow staffs. Both rangers jump, and move at high speed along the walls. Both rangers reach the rooftop of the building and point their batons at Denki. The sticks begin to generate electrical discharges, and strong lightning bolts emerge from them. Denki begins to absorb the electricity, but he starts to feel that he is exceeding his limit. The Blue Ranger lunges towards Denki, and pulls out a clamp-like weapon, then grabs one of the screws that Denki had all over his body. The Blue Ranger electrocutes Denki with his weapon, causing the boy to begin overloading. The Red Ranger pulls out a beetle-shaped blaster and points it right at Denki's head. The Ranger fires an electric projectile, and this would be the last straw. Denki releases all his energy at once, and slowly shrinks, before returning to normal. Both Rangers merge, and return to being Izuku. Izuku would see Uraraka attacking from the air. Izuku. I think I'll have to bring you down to earth, Uraraka. Izuku takes his morpher and coin again, and utters a new transformation phrase. Izuku. Lightspeed Rescue, Titanium Ranger. Izuku is enveloped in a silver light, and transforms into a silver ranger. Izuku transforms his axe into a blaster, and fires it at Uraraka. The gunshot doesn't hurt her, but it does get her attention. Izuku. Hey, Uraraka, this way. Waving his arms, Uraraka sees Izuku and tries to attack him with her tentacles. Izuku dodges her attacks and shoots at her tentacles, causing some anger and annoyance in the monstrous girl. Izuku changes his axe back into its sharp form, and fiercely cuts off one of Uraraka's tentacles. Uraraka backs down, and that would anger her quite a bit. Uraraka charges her tentacles with energy and tries to kill Izuku with it. Izuku manages to absorb all the energy from Uraraka's attack with his axe, and returns it to her with a powerful energy beam. The lightning strikes Uraraka directly, and it leaves her so injured that it reverts her to her human form. Izuku manages to catch Uraraka, and leaves her on the rooftop floor. Izuku. Okay, that's two more to go. Izuku transforms back, and sees Iida running uncontrollably towards some of the rangers fighting the sentinels. Izuku jumps off the rooftop and utters a new transformation phrase. Izuku. Wild Force, Luna Wolf Ranger. Izuku transforms, and lands on his feet on the sidewalk. Izuku quickly approaches Iida, transforms his staff into a rifle, and then tries to knock Iida down with his shots. Iida steps back, but he only does so to gain more momentum, and attack Izuku. Izuku changes his weapon back into a staff, and prepares to attack. Izuku. Movement, Laser Billiards. Izuku places 3 spheres with an animal on each one, and points his staff at Iida. Izuku. Starfruit, shoots. The nurses turn into pure energy, and shoot towards Iida. The energy spheres impact Iida, and explode inside his body. Iida falls to the ground, and returns to his human form. Izuku. Okay, there's only one left. Seeing Bakugo destroying the city, Izuku moves a little away from the other rangers, and his body begins to be enveloped in darkness. Izuku. Summon Zord, generating energy from his entire body. At that moment, thousands of portals open from the sky, and different Zords emerge from them. The Zords combine, and form a new Mega Zord. Izuku flies straight towards the Mega Zord, and places himself on its head, attached to its golden horn. Izuku. Gravizord, let's go after that explosive lizard. The Gravizord runs towards Bakugo, while drawing its claws and sword. Upon noticing Izuku's presence and that of the Mega Zord, Bakugo would fiercely attack him, launching explosives. The Gravizord repels them without a problem, and cuts Bakugo's face with its claws. Bakugo retreats and tries to attack the Mega Zord, but it was too powerful to defeat him. Desperate to win, Bakugo begins to generate a lot of energy from within himself, and releases all this energy as a powerful explosion. The Gravizord repels it with some difficulty, but manages to withstand the attack. The Gravizord charges at Bakugo, and with its sword, manages to stab his stomach. Some of Bakugo's blood falls right on Amelia, as if she had been doused with a bucket of cold water. Amelia. That's disgusting, blew it. Bakugo recoils in great pain, and begins to lose power. The Gravizord begins to brutally beat him, while Izuku just watches the scene expressionlessly. Bakugo collapses to the ground, and his body begins to revert to its human form. Bakugo barely manages to stand up, and tries to attack the Gravizord, but all he would achieve is breaking his arms. Izuku gets off the Gravizord, and sees Bakugo's deplorable state. Izuku. You brought this on yourself, old friend. Izuku moves away from Bakugo, as the Gravizord's Zords begin to separate. Zordon approaches Izuku. Zordon. It's all over now. Izuku. It seems so, looking at the whole scene. At that moment, a huge shadow would appear out of nowhere, and from it would emerge Rita Repulsa. Rita repulses. You, looking at Zordon, all this is your fault. If only you hadn't been there that day, none of this would have happened. Izuku. What is he talking about? Looking at Zordon. Zordon. I'll explain it to you later. Rita Repulsa brandishes her staff and points it at Izuku and Zordon. Rita Repulsa fires at them, but Izuku absorbs the energy of Rita Repulsa's attack with the help of his coin. Rita exclaims. What? Impossible. Izuku keeps his hand steady with his coin, and slowly approaches Rita Repulsa, who continues her attack. Rita Repulsa increases the force of her attack, and tries to push Izuku back. Izuku stands firm, and continues to absorb Rita's repulsive energy. Rita can't take it anymore, and her body begins to suffer the consequences. Rita falls to her knees in repulsion, and Izuku lowers his coin. Izuku, if it were up to me, you'd be dead by now, but someone taught me how to be a better person. Izuku points his coin at Rita Repulsa, and a beam of green energy comes out of it. The lightning begins to transform Rita Repulsa, and she begins to lose all her evil. A smokescreen rises, blocking everyone's visibility. As the smoke cleared, everyone would see a beautiful woman approaching Zordon. Rita. Zordon, what happened? Where are we? Zordon couldn't believe what was happening. Zordon happily embraces the now purified Rita, while tears run down his cheeks. Izuku steps out of the smoke screen and places his coin in his morpher. Izuku. Drain all the dark energy from your body, you will never remember what you did as Rita Repulsa. Zordon approaches Izuku and hugs him. Zordon. Thank you, my friend. A few hours later, all the Rangers were on the Ranger ship, celebrating their victory against evil. While everyone was celebrating, Izuku was talking to Kimberly in the ship's infirmary. Izuku. Well, Kim, about the kiss, Kimberly wouldn't let Izuku finish, as she would give him a quick kiss on the lips. Kimberly. There's no problem with that, Izuku, and besides, I always thought you were very cute. Smile. Izuku is surprised by Kimberly's words, and blushes a little. Izuku. Well, I guess I also found you nicer than the others. They both smile at each other, and kiss again. The end. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and make sure to like and please hype this video. Now we will see you in the next video.